It's a war with impacts being felt around the world. Just over 2 weeks ago, the US and Israel attacked Iran and killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. It was the start of a regional conflict that's continued to increase in scale and severity. Airstrikes have killed hundreds of people and displaced millions more. Gulf nations have come under unprecedented attack, and global energy markets are facing increasing uncertainty. A new round of airstrikes have hit the city of Isfahan in central Iran. Large plumes of smoke were seen rising from the city on Sunday morning. A military plane has also been seen flying ahead. The region was heavily bombed on Saturday, with one airstrike at a factory killing at least 15 workers. Let's get more now from Tohid Asadi, who joins us live from Tehran. Why has Isfahan come under such heavy bombardment?
Well, actually, we have to keep in mind, first and foremost, that this is not just Isfahan under bombardment, but also we know that across the country there are other cities being targeted, and this is day 16 since the commencement of the airstrikes by the Americans and Israelis, and we know that more than 200 cities, in addition to the Iranian capital Tehran, have been targeted throughout the trajectory of these airstrikes over the past more than 2 weeks now, I can say. And of course, speaking of the question, we know that Isfahan is one of the most populated cities of the country. Also, we know that it houses a lot of industrial complexes, a lot of actually military complexes. And right now we see, not just in Isfahan, but in other, let's say, cities across the country, this is the focus, or one of the focuses of the attacks, targeting the factories and infrastructures. And again, we know that in that terms, Isfahan is playing a critically important role, militarily speaking, industrially speaking, infrastructurally speaking. But still, the bigger picture is that this is not the only places that I mentioned that are being targeted, but also residential areas are being impacted, some of them destroyed, some of them fully demolished. And of course, in Isfahan also we have receiving reports about tens of people being killed, and we know that more than 1,400 people so far have lost their lives, with many, many more injured. So the impact is not limited to industrial or infrastructural segments, but also it covers a very wider spectrum of targets, specifically when it comes to civilian units. We know that hospitals and schools and actually even buildings belonging to Red Crescent are being targeted across the country. All in all, we know that this is a delicate situation, as the Iranian side is also talking about retaliation. IRGC is coming with the statements one after another, and also we know that specifically pertaining to what happened in Khark, which is one of the most strategically significant choke points when it comes to oil exports of the country. Now there is another level of escalation when it comes to the rhetoric from both sides.
Now, Tohid, just talk us through the Iranian threats on Gulf nations. There has been, talk of those threats being, coming down in nature, calming down in nature, with the missiles not flying over Gulf cities, but there also has been strong talk of using America. If any base was used, an American base was used, it was a fair target.
Sami, of course, since the very beginning and even before the initiation of these strikes, Iran said that in case of a U.S. attack, there is going to be repercussions for regional countries, and there's going to be a possibility of regional war. A full-fledged, all-out scenario for the entire West Asia was something that Iran already talked about in case of an escalation, and this is part and parcel of the same strategy. And we have been hearing a lot of statements, but gist of the matter around which all these statements are revolving, I can say, is that in case the territory of these countries, these regional countries, are used for targeting Iran or any Iran affiliated infrastructure, then the response is going to be striking back, A. And B, Iran says that it wants to keep its good relations with regional countries. This is what we heard time and again since the initiation of the airstrikes by the Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian and other officials. Even Pezeshkian came out to apologize to those countries, but still he kept on to say that we are going to stop our attacks to US military bases across the region in case the missiles, the attacks coming from those countries are stopped. And also that was the same statement that we heard from the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations and other officials such as the foreign minister. All in all, specifically when it comes to recent strikes, Iran is saying that in case of an attack on its oil infrastructures, for example, it's going to respond by attacking any oil infrastructure in a sense related to the United States or even working with the United States. That is just adding another layer of complexity into this already delicate situation.
That's Tohid Asadi there live for us from Tehran.